I guess it'd be the 1-4-5. That means your one is the key that you're in, which will be say like I'm in the key E. That's your E. That'd be your one, and then you count that off. 4 beats. It's four for playing a 4/4. It's 4 beats per measure. So you play that 4 times, and then you go to your 4, which will be your A, and you play that 4 times rather. Then back to your root note, which is E. Play that 4 times, and then you go to your 5, which would be your B. Then you turn it around. Yeah. Because I come from a family of musicians and artists. I'm the next generation, so here I am. I got to keep the tradition alive. I first started playing music with my grandfather. I don't know what his idea was, if it was to start a family blues band or what, but he bought a couple guitars and a bass, and he had this guy, can't remember what his name is now off the top of my head, but he come by the house once or twice a week to show us the basic rhythms of blues and stuff like that. And it was like I took one lesson and that was it, and off I went. I guess one of the first ones I learned was Got My Mojo Working by Muddy Waters. There you go. Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. Got my mojo working, just don't work on you. I wanna love you so bad, till you don't know what to do. Got a gypsy woman giving me advice. I got a gypsy woman giving me advice. I got a whole lot of tricks, yes sir, keeping here all night. Got my mojo working. I got my mojo working. I got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. I got my mojo working, but baby, just don't work on you. Yeah, that's one of the early ones.
That was awesome.
Yes, sir. When music became part of my life, it started from when I was just a little baby, really, because music has always been there. It's been a part of my life. As far as me playing it and becoming more than a listener and more of an enjoyer and of the music, that happened later on in life when I was able to really understand the lyrics and stuff like that. When I was younger, there were certain things that I didn't really understand about the music. There's what they call a double entendres. What's being said isn't really being said. There's certain blues songs with my grandfather and a lot of my family, they get tickled because I knew the words to them, and they knew that I didn't know what they was really talking about. So, and I got shut up a couple of times. Don't sing that song.
Yeah. People are hearing something else.
Exactly. I love you tip, I love you top, I love you baby, like a hog loves song. You my big leg woman, short, mini skirt, yeah. Trust me, little darling, that you will never treat me like dirt. Like a Georgia vine, run around the stump. I love you, baby. I call you Sugar Lump because you my sweet little baby. Short, mini skirt, yeah. Just because me, little darling, never treat me like dirt. had my fun. If I never get well no more, well, I had my fun. If I never get well no more, well, my health is failing on me. Lord, you know I'm going down slow. Well, please write my mother, tell her the shape I'm in. Why don't you please, please, please write my mother? Ooh, Lord, tell her the shape I'm in. Tell her to pray, pray for me, Lord, and forgive me for all of my sins. Well, on the next strange sound, look for my clothes back home. Yes, on the next strange sound, why don't you look for my clothes back home? Well, if you don't see my body, ooh, Lord, all you can do is weep and moan. Yeah.
Woo. Tell me a bit about busking, would you? Like, what is that experience like?
It's pretty fun because you get to interact with the people, you know, and you sit and you be able to people watch too. You see all kind of strange things, strange happenings going on, you know, especially in the downtown area.
Yeah, because you're staying in one spot, and
Right.
so the world's walking by you.
Right.
And what about the interactions? I mean, I'm sure you're a very likable human being.
Yeah.
Did you have predominantly good interactions, or were people also difficult?
I've had predominantly good interactions, but there's some difficult folks as well, you know, a lot of hecklers. I'm a musician and an entertainer, so I could be playing a song and I notice somebody might be dancing in the crowd or something like that, so I'll jump up from behind my guitar case and go dance with them and stuff like that, you know. Walk on by with their highfalutin ways, thinking things are okay, just because it's a brand new day. But I'm here to tell you, you will get yours in time. You know the blues so will find you sitting here in sorrow, hoping and praying for mine. Yes, Lord, mine. My tomorrow. I'm laughing and I'm clowning. You know I'm just trying to keep from crying, trying to hide the fact I've got a worried mind, but I know the sun is shining again. It can't keep raining on this post broke down and man that's sitting here in sorrow, hoping and I'm praying for mine. Yes, Lord, my tomorrow. Life can always be, you know, the sunshine and rain you see. It doesn't matter if you're searching high or you're low. We've all got to go through this thing called life, full of misery. Yes, it is, and all full of a strife while sitting here in sorrow, hoping and a praying for mine. Yes, Lord, my tomorrow. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Does that bring back memories?
Yeah, because that song was written, like the first verse says, people walk on by with the highfalutin ways. A lot of folks, they walk by me with it, seem like they had a nose in the air, like they act like they're better than me, just because I might have been homeless and they might have had a place to go. Even some homeless folks looked at me like sideways because the way I dressed, my mannerisms, everything's like that. I never really let any of that go. I never let the streets consume me like it has some other people. Because some folks, they get out there and they feel like, okay, all is lost, so I'm just going to lose it all. Whereas somewhere in my unconscious, conscious mind, I knew that there was still something there for me. Even though I thought I had lost it all, when in reality I hadn't lost anything at all. It's just a matter, I had just lost my way for a little bit. This is one song that has always kept me going. Precious Lord. And it's done this because it's like a trusting child, we each can look up with eyes of faith and clasp the hands of our Heavenly Father. He says in Isaiah 41:13, "Fear not, I will help you. I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand, saying to you, fear not, I will help you." There you'll find tender compassion, consolation, love, wonderful peace, a friend to the end, and you can find all this and more in the outstretched hands of the Lord. So when life looks like it's got the best of me and things get rough, I just kind of look up and I just play this song right here. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I'm worn, so worn. Through the storm, through the night, precious Lord, lead me to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and just lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, please, won't you linger near? When my life says my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and please lead me home. When the darkness appears, precious Lord, please draw near. And the days, I said the days past and gone. It's long, long, long gone. At the river, you know I stand. Guide my feet, hold my trembling little hand. Precious Lord, take my hand and lead, just lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand and lead, just lead me home.
That's beautiful.
Yes, sir. This is one called Changes. It's talking about my experience from that caused me to give up the streets and change my life around. I had a dream one night that I went to heaven. And St. Peter was at the gate and he didn't look too happy to see me. And he just kind of pointed inside. And when I walked through the pearly gates, it started to rain. And that was a strange thing for me because they always talk about heaven was this happy and joyous place and the sun was shining all the time. But it was raining. And I walked down, as I was walking down the streets, and I came upon this partially built mansion, you know, and had a stack of lumber in the yard, and this big old stack of twigs in the yard. And everybody was gathered around the front porch and looking at somebody sitting on the front porch, you know, like somebody was talking to them, and I couldn't see who it was at first, but it was just like the Red Sea parted the crowd, and I seen it was Jesus sitting there, and he had the Lamb Book of Life open, and he looks at me and he says, "Come here, my child," and so I go up and I go to talk to him, and he stops me before I can say anything, and he began to cry, you see, and that kind of definitely was another strange thing to me that made me say, okay, what was going on? And I happened to look down. He had the Lamb's Book of Life, and he had opened my chapter, and he said, "This is where you were, this is where you are, and this is where I told you to be. And I'm tired of going through changes with you." And that's how I wrote it. And that's when I wrote this song. He said, "Look where you are. It's not where you should be. You should be playing your guitar and preaching about me. I'm tired of going through changes with you." He says, "I'm tired of going through changes with you." If he had to talk with me, I know he had it with you. I don't know what was said, but I know you know what to do. He's tired of going through changes with you. I said he's tired of going through changes with you. Well, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. It won't be water, but by next time, God showed Noah his rainbow sign. It won't be water, but by next time. He said he's tired of going through changes with you. He says I'm tired of going through changes with you. Yeah. And after that conversation, which further cemented that for me was a few nights later, I had another dream that me, God, and the devil, we all sitting around a conference table when we had a meeting. And God looks at me, he says, I had OD'd the night before. And he says to me, he said, if you do this again, talking about if I OD again and die, he said, I'm sending you to hell. And when I woke up, that made me change my life around. God is throwing his hands up with me. That means everybody else is definitely throwing their hands up with me, so I have to make a change. And that's when I made that change. Oh. didn't loud. Stay out all night long. Gotta tell mama loud when the blues get in the house. It just kind of had that vamp type groove type thing that just kind of expanded the whole song, you know. Mary Mac dressed in black, silver buttons on down her back. Hello, tipsy toe, she broke a needle and she can't sew. Walking the dog, just a walking the dog. Well, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Ask my mama for 15 cents. See the elephant jump the fence. They jump so high, you know they touch the sky. They got back until the 4th of July. Walking the dog, just a walking the dog. Well, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Now, Mary Marilyn, why you so doggone contrary? I just wonder how you look out, little baby. I see you got silver bells over yonder, cockle shells, and pretty maids all in a row. Walking the dog, just a walking the dog. Well, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Oh, oh, now, just a walking the dog. Just a baby, just a walk in the dog. Well, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Oh, oh, now, just a walk in the dog. Now, just a baby, just a walk in the dog. Well, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Bow wow to you too. I think I remember all the words of this song. It's called Missing You. I wrote it when I was locked up in jail. Me and Aaron were together at the time, and I was kind of missing the little fella. But yeah. You are my everything. You are what makes my heart sing. And I miss you hour by hour, minute by minute. You are my star and moon. I hope that I can see you soon, 'cause I miss you hour by hour, minute by minute. Your name I won't call. Just know that you're my all in all. And I miss you hour by hour, minute by minute. see. This one is called Mother's Joy. And it says, I am my mother's only boy. When I was young, I made her proud and brought her much joy. As I grew, I knew what I was supposed to do. I preached and prayed. In the church, I'd always played. Nobody, including me, ever dreamed I strayed. Like the prodigal son, one day I decided I was grown and left home. They say the whale swallowed Jonah on the deep blue sea. I felt like that same old whale had swallowed me. As I wandered and roamed from place to place, door to door, corner to corner, I felt like I belonged in this worldly space. Drinking, gambling, and let's not forget drugging all night long, I was living in a fool's paradise. It's truly an awesome wonder I ain't dead. Over time, living the life I lived created a hole where the money goes. Yes, sadly, that is because of the life I chose. Climbing walls while sitting in a chair just to lock my heart like an icy Frigidaire. Why? Why not? I keep my feelings there. It's a shame. Every time I try to ease the pain and loose the chains of stress and strain on my troubled brain, it was like 1,000 railroad trains racing down the track toward my heart, through my vein, and whoo, Lord, around my brain. Bye-bye happiness, fortune, fame, life, love, family. Damn, I don't know how much more I can stand to lose. Well, they say the whale swallowed Jonah, that's why I have these blues. If for no other reason than the fact life gives from the way we live, because life is lived through the choices we make. More times than often, we make mistakes like the hole where the money goes, and the life of hell I chose. Losing sight of the things I was taught as a boy, and forgetting I am my mother's joy, I've learned we are like children paint on canvases, picking up shades as we grow. We start off blank with great enthusiasm. Our paint, the color that makes us who we are, brushed on by people we know. If you or I had a choice of colors, would you take some gray with your blue? Choose wisely and watch your technique as you go, because life can be gone in a few. Knowing what I know now, having seen and felt the depth of pain and misery life's storms can bring, there's only one thing left to do. Straighten up and fly right. Let down my resistance, stop the fight. That's right, I'm tired of fattening frogs for snakes. That's it, I quit, I'm moving on. Tell them all I'm going home. No more out in this cold, lonely world shall I roam. Back to the place where I'll be safe and warm. Plenty of good food to eat. No longer do I or ever really need it to beg, borrow, steal for a place to sleep. No more acting out. I'm going back not only because I'm my mama's only boy, but I know it'll bring my mother joy.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. With this next song, this song right here is called Blue and Lonesome. It's another song about reflecting on my life, and how another view of how I felt about it. My home is a prison. I'm the jailer who holds the key. I'm locked up and locked out. Oh, that's the hand life has dealt to me. Just like a ship out on dry land, I'm blue and lonesome as a man can be. I'm the author of happiness, finisher of all misery. Who's gonna answer the call? Who's the one that's gonna stop this fall? Even though I'm blue and lonesome, I guess that somebody's got to be me. You know I'm trapped in a vicious circle between two worlds and a hell unchained. I tell you every day is different, yet every day is the same. Oh, the hurt and all the pain, I'm blue and lonesome just the same. Yeah. But that rolls right into this other piece that I wrote called When I Was Young. When I was young, I was living in a daydream. I was traveling, going nowhere fast. Foolishly spending money on most anything. I was happy and content, without worry, want, or fear. The sun seemed to shine all the time. I thought I was a king. Trapped by the eternal sunshine of hell, I failed to realize my castle was made of sand. One day, without a word of warning, the sun stopped shining. It began raining what seemed to be all the time. Another failed reality, which was really a refusal to concede. You see, I was still just a boy with mannish ways. Soon my empire began to crumble, one grain of sand at a time, simply because I rushed to be a man. Let's rewind the tape when all was calm before the storms of life began raging, before the time its fury fell on me. It's funny how time slips away, which really isn't funny at all. For it wasn't long before I found myself drowning on dry land. My father told me and mother said it right when they said, "You better slow down, son, or you'll ruin your life." However, I didn't listen. I kept on dipping and dabbling, drinking and gambling, living in a fool's paradise. In the darkest of nights, just before dawn, is where I soon found myself drowning on dry land. It was here when my castle made of sand fell back into the sea. When I had fallen into a cistern, the lion's den, I felt like young David standing in the shadows of Goliath, and death had a vendetta against me. How quickly, quietly, and efficiently all this caused me to almost forget a mother's love will always be the same. Despite the situation, no matter how great the devastation, its founding block and the foundation of life will always remain. When I thought I was standing leading in the fight, I learned the hard way my fight was more of a nibble than a bite. One of the top 10 hurts of this was losing sight of this which made me lose my mind. As I waded through water and consumed by mud, I began to weep and moan, cold and alone on a concrete reservation. I began to look back over my life, from whence I came to where I had arrived. It was there I realized I was trapped in a vicious circle, between two worlds in a hell unchanged. It was as if scales had fallen from my eyes. I could finally see I had been caught in a lie of the very worst kind. It was here at the pinnacle of life, in the hog pen, worse than any switch, belt, or strap. It was then I truly felt the tightness of the noose that snared the trap. I found myself on the brink of death. After countless seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, and years. It was in that dark, lonely hour when I had just about nothing left, I heard a still small voice. I looked, but I saw no one, till I looked towards the hills. This gentle, unfamiliar, yet familiar voice said, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. You, my child, are not alone." It was clear as a bell that without God I'd fail. Standing on the cliff of total destruction of the mind, I could see somebody somewhere was praying for me. Realizing that I was lost, I was now found. I was once blind, but I could finally see the coming of the dawn. The hour had come for me to go on home. I called Mama, told her I'm sorry for days I left her at home. I realize now I was wrong, truly wrong, I'm coming home. She said, "My son, I love you, I always have and always will. You went too far and stayed too long, but you can always come back home." That was when I was young. I have not come here to testify about bad misfortune, and I ain't wondering why. It's not my cross to bear alone. Oh, not to bear alone. You say you got worries, troubles all in your home. Sometimes you can't help but to weep and moan. Have you gone down on your knees in prayer, left your burdens there? It's not your cross to bear alone. You know he died for you, and he died for me. So must you alone. Oh no, 'cause there's a cross for me and a cross for you, not to bear alone. You say your family leaves you, your friends deceive you, and that lonesome feeling won't leave you alone. Just look towards heaven, it's not your cross to bear. Oh, not to bear alone. Along towards the end of your road. Don't reach out for me, there's nothing I can do. Just trust in Jesus, He will see us through, 'cause it's not a cross to